Okay, well, welcome in everybody. We got Gorlath on the line here. GorlathStreams. He's a Twitch
Hello.
streamer. He's a strategy gamer. He's a dog owner, a tea drinker, a Canadian technically. Gorlath, what would you summarize or describe yourself as to people who don't know you?
That's a good question. I am a British man with mental issues.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, technically everybody on Twitch has mental issues. So that's par for the course, I would say. But fair. I mean, all of that definitely does describe yourself. I did have a lot of questions, a lot of things I did want to talk to you about. The first off, have you ever been on a podcast?
Once before I was on GFL Cast, back when I was playing Girls Frontline, back when I streamed gacha games.
And how did that go?
It went all right. I mean, it was a pretty popular podcast at the time for like the 4 episodes I think they did. It wasn't the longest lasting one, but
why did it end so prematurely?
it just sort of, I don't even really know. I appeared on like the one episode, and then that was that really for me. I understand they did like a little segment with a guest speaker every time, but I never really watched it myself because I wasn't really much of a podcast person.
That's fair.
But
you're a gotcha
yeah, no,
game person?
I was at the time, not so much anymore.
Why not? What happened?
Well, how to put it? My I tend to play how to put it? All right. I sort of just realized that like a gacha game, all I was really doing in it was chores, right?
Yeah, your wizard chores.
Yeah, exactly. Like I would boot up the game and I would spend like an hour doing dailies, and then I would close the game. And that's all it was. And like I just ended up getting bored of that, and then on top of that, I sort of just started to realize that I don't really agree with how gacha games are basically gambling and all that, you know?
I can see that. I mean, I was a content creator for Goddess of Victory, Nikke, for the longest time, and really what killed me off of gacha games, first off, the way that Nikke does their monetization is horrid. Secondly, the content creator space, they went from giving so many rewards out to the content creators and giving us challenges to be better than the other content creators, but then they just decided to roll out a new NDA and use the excuse of, oh, by the way, we can pay you faster if you sign the NDA. That's not what an NDA does. I don't know if you've ever had to sign one, but it just means you don't tell people about things, and it has nothing to do with your pay. The pay of $2 of in-game currency a month, by the way, when I quit. And I was just like, not only is the company skeezy, the whole premise of getting like the girls and the new flavor of the month coming out, and you have to get her, otherwise you're underpowered. And I get it. I'm not a gacha fan either. In fact, I refuse to play gacha games at all anymore because of Goddess of Victory Nikke. And it's gone to almost the point where I don't want to play free to play games at all, because I feel like they all developed to be gacha games.
Yeah, I'm the same. And you said that, you know, the whole flavor of the month character coming out, that, you know, you have to get or you're underpowered. That is also a big thing for me that I'm not a fan of with gacha, is that you'll get like older characters will get obsoleted by newer ones because they have to release a new flashy one in order to get people to spend money on it. So like every character is flashier than the last one. And it
not
means
only flashier, more powerful, the power creep goes on. Exactly. It's crazy.
Yeah. And if you have a favorite, you know, for me, it's, you know, Ghost Frontline IDW. She's on my stream still. IDW was a 2-star unit. You know, anyone who's played a gacha game will understand that 2 stars is nothing, right?
Out of 5.
Yeah, and 1 star, I don't even remember if 1 star existed, but in a lot of gacha games, 1 star doesn't even exist, right? I think Arknights has only 3 stars as the minimum even. But, yeah, so, like, if you like one of these early characters, and you want to use them, you can't, because including them in your team or using them at all is just like you're just not going to win, because you're up against like 7 or 8 star god characters that can solo these end game things.
Yep.
And you got and they have like 10 times the stats that your starting character does
Naturally. And better skills and better equipment slots and yeah.
For sure. Yeah, just better in general. Yeah. And I can definitely agree with the whole not wanting to play free to play in general because of it. It's
so hard to find games that aren't free to play though. Like everything's gone that way.
Yeah, you start to see a lot of scummy business practices as you play like gacha, and then you get into free to play in general, and it's sort of like especially like the obfuscation of how much money you're spending by making you purchase gems or whatever, and then you spend the gems on something. So it's like you spend $5, get 600 gems, and then you spend 100 on a thing in game, and it's like 100 gems isn't much, but it is, and you just don't really realize how much you're spending. So on.
Yeah, I feel you. I'm surprised people still play gachas. Like even I know so many people that play like 4 different games at once, and it's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I hear the excuse of like, I never spend any money on it, a lot, right? And it's like, I can understand that because I used to be in the same crowd, but just because you don't spend money on it doesn't mean that it's not occupying your time with what is basically not even a game. It's a framework to spend money in that happens to be gamified.
And your chores are slower because you didn't spend money on it. Yeah, I get you.
Exactly. Yeah. And it just gives you a list of daily chores to do, and they just if you don't spend money, they take longer. Yeah, that's basically a gacha game for sure.
Well, I did it as the content creator team, so I got in-game currency, which allowed me to also. Then I spent money on top of that. Don't get me wrong. I did that as content, as a content creator. And I can tell you that content's not worth it. The cost of pulling girls from Goddess of Victory was overpriced, first off, because it was something like $10 for a 10 pull, $1 a pull, and you needed something like 220 to even unlock the girl once. It's crazy low stats, and it was an expensive fucking hobby, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, you mentioned NDA a while ago. I have a funny story concerning Girls Frontline. I once got sent a DM from one of the community members of or community managers, I guess, of Girls Frontline for the EN community, telling me some stuff, and then just said, "Oh, by the way, this is NDA." It's like I hadn't signed anything.
Yeah.
So like, I have not signed an NDA on that.
Yeah, so of course you're not going to be held to it.
They can't do anything.
One of the things about my NDA, they produced a new one and voided the old one before people signed off on the new one, and that's why they were trying to push so hard to get people to sign off on the new one. So I am not under NDA at all. And I've thought about actually making a YouTube video on why I quit gacha gaming, specifically the behind the scenes of the content creator drama. And I haven't yet because I feel like that's airing laundry that nobody really would care about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, you might get the occasional people who have some interest in it, but yeah, usually when I start ranting about that kind of thing, I get met with a whole bunch of like, oh, he's going old man Gore going about this again.
Old man Gore, yelling at clouds. I get you. So I know that people are also going to ask this very awkward question that I'm frankly shocked nobody actually has asked yet, is why are you not a camera person? You don't camera on your Twitch. You don't even have VTuber, a GIF-tuber. This is an animated Discord avatar for you that I'm using, that I'm talking to, which is a slightly bit awkward, but why don't you camera?
That's a good question. I mean, it's a combination of reasons. I was raised in the 90s, early 2000s, where, the general consensus was don't share any information online. Don't put pictures of yourself online, etc. And so that like that's always been a strong element in my life, but also I just kind of enjoy being a disembodied voice. I feel like there's a certain degree of like the content that I enjoy involves disembodied voice streamers, content creators. I prefer having just like I prefer less on the screen myself.
Okay.
So there's a lot of things like that. But yeah, it's a combination of things basically.
But you wouldn't even get an animated little picture that moves when you talk.
I might. I mean, I've definitely considered it. I wouldn't. It's not off the table.
What's stopping you?
But mostly, I don't know. I haven't really thought of a design. If I was gonna come up with one, I don't really know what I would have as an avatar. If I was gonna have one, maybe I'll think about that some more. Who knows? But,
why not a VTuber model? Is it just a cost on that one?
Well, no. Again, it's just haven't thought of anything really. Haven't really paid it much mind.
Interesting. That's do you think that it impacts your stream by people not seeing your reaction, a little wiggly thing or anything like that? Do you feel like that holds you back?
Not really, no. Because like, I see a lot of streamers that, don't have face cam and they do just fine.
What is just fine to you, just out of curiosity?
Well, I mean, like you got Vine Sauce, he's got a good few million people following him.
I don't know who that is.
I don't know. He's just some Italian guy.
Some Italian guy. How do you know he's Italian? You can't even see him. Can you even tell Italian separate from like any other European? I don't know.
Well, I mean, in Vine Sauce's case, he mentions it a lot, and
okay.
But I mean, I can probably tell. Yeah, if someone had an accent, I'd probably be able to tell.
Do you think I have an accent?
Yeah.
What? No, I don't have an accent. What do you mean?
You do. You have an accent.
How is that an accent?
that's an accent.
That's how you pronounce that word. Accent.
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 No, accent.
It's the same thing.
No, it's a short
Accent.
Yeah. It's like I sound a bit like this, don't I?
That's the same word I just used. Okay, so I want to put you through a little bit of an experiment for all the viewers and listeners and watchers, and I want you to describe, and you can lie, you can tell me all the wrong things, but can you describe, to give us a mental image of what you would actually look like behind the camera?
What I would look like behind the camera.
Right. Do you have a beard? Are you 6'6"? Are you?
I'm 6'8". I have a beard. I'm missing both of my arms. Got an eye patch, big scar down the side of my face.
So how do you play games with no arms then?
Tongue.
Just tongue. Okay. So you're a tall, bearded, rugged man in person.
Yeah, I mean, you could probably imagine me in like homeless.
Homeless. Okay. If I ever see a homeless person on the street, I'm gonna ask, "Hey, Gorlath, is it you?" And they're probably gonna be like, "Oh yeah, it's totally me." Got a change, bud?
I got long curly hair, kind of the metalhead look sort of thing,
I do too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Got the luscious locks.
So, what have you been playing a lot recently? I know what you've been playing on stream, but do you play games off stream?
I do. It depends. Like a lot of the time, I'll generally prefer to like do things more along the lines of reading manga or messing around with my music. But I've been playing.
Music? Do you make music?
Yeah, I do. I've been, well, I mean, as an amateur. I'm hardly a professional producer, but yeah, no, I have FL Studio. I mess around in that. Do a lot of niche, obscure genres of EDM. I've
So
been
do you
wanting to
have
get
that
into.
like posted anywhere? Like, what if I wanted to listen to your music?
Well, I did post briefly on Newgrounds some of the stuff I made,
Oh
but
man, you're old. Oh, posting on Newgrounds, Jesus.
yeah, I haven't posted much recently. I actually want to. I've been looking for some communities around the music that I've been making because again, I work with my. I mean, I like to make a genre called space synth, which is a very obscure genre from like the 70s to 80s.
Would that fit
Um,
well with Rimworld? Because I feel like it might.
uh, it's I mean, it's Rimworld has a very like space western, like chill kind of soundtrack,
Right, but I
whereas
don't always
Space,
agree with the chill soundtrack. Like when you're getting attacked,
Mhm.
that doesn't necessarily fit.
Yeah, Space Synth is more. I mean, it's actually technically a kind of disco. It's uh, how to put it, it's derived from Italo disco, which is sort of the grandfather of space synth or of synthwave,
I
and
don't
most
know anything
modern
about
EDM.
music, so you're talking to me like I'm a grade fiver over here,
Well,
but
okay, and if you know techno, right?
I
The
know techno.
technotrons.
I know
Okay,
techno
cool.
Viking.
So, yeah. So going up from that, you have like synthwave, which is a bit more chill, but equally sort of energetic, danceable. Um, and then you've got disco music, which is more club music, and space synth is sort of an offshoot of that similar sort of genre. Very upbeat, very danceable. Sort of club music, disco style, but space synth tends to be more atmospheric in a way. I don't really know how to describe it. Again, it's a very niche genre. I'm very particular about it, and it's very. I don't know. I'm very odd in that I happen to like this one really niche genre. But
That's fair. And you don't want to branch out into any other music. You're just stuck on
I
the
mean,
space synth.
that's a good question. I've actually been considering doing Eurobeat recently. I've always liked Eurobeat as well. Um, And I don't know if you know Eurobeat either.
I know of Eurobeat a bit more,
Okay, yeah,
but
it's used in memes every now and then,
I feel
popularized
like
by Initial
Eurobeat is
D.
so wide of a genre that you can't really narrow it down. At least not to me.
Yeah, it's specifically it's the kind it, yeah it does have a specific sound to it. Like if you get into like the classic Eurobeat, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
So how did you get into making music? Like what did you just pick up the
Um,
software and start going beep boops?
I've kind of always liked music. Back when I was in England before I moved to Canada, I was in music class. I learned how to play piano. Did some digital music production back then as well, although, I was like 11, 12 at the time, so it wasn't any good. Um, that was me experimenting with like GarageBand on a Mac at school. Um, Nowadays, I mean, I own an accordion, and yeah, the sort I remember as a teenager as well. I messed around in FL Studio a bit back then as well. Never really had anything come of it, but these days I've been trying to do more with it.
How did you get an accordion?
Bought it.
Okay, but like who just sells these? Do I go to a music store and just buy an accordion?
I went to I only have vague memories because I got it a long time ago. But I went to this it was like a music store that was basically it was here in Canada actually, here in Alberta, and it was it was like some basement of a store. You go in and you go down, and it was like a little basement store, and there was just this old guy in a room filled with like really just disorganized, random old instruments everywhere. He had like a classic synthesizer down there as well, like 80s with the wood on it. And he was playing that around. He gave me a lesson on the accordion for free as well. It was amazing.
I can't help but imagine, as you were telling this story, an older homeless guy in the basement selling knick-knack like musical equipment, and he's like that crazy guy from Plants vs. Zombies, you know, Crazy
Yeah.
Ben or whatever his name is. But a good question from chat came out. As a musician, why an accordion?
So, I mean, accordions are a lot more common in Europe than they are in North America. It's just it's just popularized over there a bit more, I think. But as a kid, I always would see like Morris dances, that kind of thing, going by, or being downtown. And they would have like someone playing the accordion or something like that, and I've always loved the sound of it. It's such a rich sound for an instrument. Um, and because like it's multiple woodwinds going at the same time. Now I've got a 120 bass. I've got a 120 bass accordion, so like I got one of the big ones, right? So you can get like smaller ones like concertinas, that kind of thing. And they all have like just a wonderful sound. But I'm also a weirdo who likes bagpipes, so
I'm muted. I asked what's a Morris dancer. I'm so confused. I don't know if it's a parade or if it's a Ren fair, and I'm reading all about how they're a traditional form of English folk dancers. But what the hell is a Morris dancer? You could probably tell me faster than I could read.
Yeah, so it's a traditional kind of dance. You'll see them during like festivals and stuff like that. So you'll have like a big parade down the main street of a town or something, and there'll be Morris dancers in among them as they go down. It's kind of like it's performance art, kind of like a marching band sort of thing, but more folksy. You'll see like a fairly small group of them. Sometimes they'll just be performing for the heck of it.
These are the most European pictures I've ever seen. Oh,
it's really
my
fun.
God.
It's a little bit of European whimsy.
Okay, before I go down the Morris dancer rabbit hole, so you got an accordion because it reminds you of Europe and it's more accessible. I get it, but why not a guitar? Why not a trombone? You could have gotten any other instrument.
Yeah, like I said, I just like the sound. I'm a huge fan of the rich sound of it. It's because the way that it works, right, is that the reeds play multiple at the same time. So you can have like you can make it create like a fluty sound. You can make it make more of like a low, more of a rumbly sound, or you can have it do both at the same time. And then you've got like the other side as well with the keys on top of like the little buttons. So you can have like it's basically playing several instruments at once kind of thing. And it just produces a really really nice sound like that. And for me, I'm very particular about that kind of thing.
I see. So you got a bunch of music. You like music. You like strategy games, gotcha games. You've moved past by. But what other games? As I rattled off on down the making music, you mentioned a lot of other games that you might play offline.
Yeah, so I mean, in addition to your strategy sim games, I'm obviously a huge fan of those kinds of games. And roguelikes. Roguelikes are another big one that I'm
They
a huge
need
fan
more
of.
roguelikes out. Like I'm playing Balatro right now because I also really love roguelikes. And I think Hades 2 is coming out. I think I saw it as an early access or something, but I'm sorry. They need more better roguelikes, I should say.
Yeah, there's definitely a bit of a ease of entry issue among roguelikes these days that sort of causes a muddiness to the genre. It's very easy to sort of like throw together a game that has like it's randomly generated and there's cards in it, and you have sort of short gameplay loop that you go through and it's random and you have to like beat it and then you just start over again, and you can just call that a roguelike, and it's not a roguelike, but you can call it one. and
Yeah,
it'll
Balatro
sell.
is not a roguelike.
Yeah.
It's I guess kind of, but it's mostly just RNG poker.
Yeah, I mean, in my mind, there's a difference between a roguelike, there's a true roguelike, a roguelite, and then a game with roguelike elements, right? A roguelike has to be like a top-down dungeon crawler, turn-based, right?
I could
Permadeath.
also see it side like a 2D dungeon crawler, like Rogue Legacy. That also worked.
Um,
It was side to side,
I
not
would
up
classify,
down.
yeah, I would classify that as a roguelite. Which is, because even things that a lot of people consider roguelikes are roguelites. Example is like Binding of Isaac, right? You ever heard of that one? Ever
Yeah,
played Binding of Isaac?
I don't like it. It's one for me. Roguelikes can be ruined by having to remember exactly what you've done. Like Brotato is a
Yeah.
pretty good one where it shows every single item what you do after you've earned the item. And you get to see it on the UI, or you have a book to pull out to see what the item the thing does. But
Yeah.
for example, with Binding of Isaac, you don't know what any of the pills do unless you open up a Wikipedia. And I hate having to open up an external source to know how to play the game. I absolutely hate
Yeah.
that. And if you have that, it's poor game design, in my opinion.
Yeah, Binding of Isaac it has an issue of far too many items. I mean, if you play like, a few dozen hours of it, you will start to learn, but then you could easily forget, and then you have to relearn it again next time you pick it up, which,
Yeah.
that's an issue. But my point is more, Binding of Isaac, it's a top-down dungeon crawler with random stuff in it, but it's not turn-based, so it's not a roguelike, it's a roguelite.
I've never actually played Rogue, so I don't know what it's like.
So Rogue it's turn-based, so you make a move and then everything else makes a move, and then you make a move. It's kind of like chess, and that I find is one of like the requirements for something to be a roguelike, for me to consider it like a true roguelike. And like a lot of games these days because they're starting to push this like idea that a roguelike is just something with random elements. I've started to become a bit more like adamant that roguelikes have to have this specific set of things to be that genre.
That's fair. For me,
but,
it's the constant progress. Every time you die, you're at least making some sort of progress towards it, leveling up items, skills, whatever.
Yeah, so
that's my main contention, and that it does have to be like a side scroller, up down, like that. That's to me, side scrolling is the same.
Yeah, I mean the meta progression, the whole like you do a run, you unlock something. That also some people would say makes something a roguelite, not a roguelike. I don't really consider that to be a major point for either way, but some people will say that's a roguelite thing. And a roguelike is you have everything unlocked from the very beginning. You go in, you do a run, you die, you're back to square one, right? Dwarf Fortress Adventure Mode would be an example of a true roguelike.
I've never actually played Dwarf Fortress.
It's a fun game. It's a really steep learning curve.
I know. I watched you play it.
But,
I've watched other people play the newer version because you played the old version with the @ signs and the ACI art.
I actually played both. I played the original, the free version,
Of course you would.
which is
of course.
that. And I also played the Steam version. Steam version it's fine. It had some issues when I was playing it. There were some bugs, but both of them are completely serviceable. And again, the original version also, you can install texture packs. You can get things like that that will change it from being a bunch of @ signs and unreadable. So it is. It is still, I still like the original. I think the original is best.
Right, it's got that the nostalgia feel for you.
It does, and again, it's a very brutally difficult game. Not the friendliest UI. So if UI is is a concern, then the Steam version might be better. They are pretty much the same game. Outside of some roughness around the edges on the Steam version, which they might have ironed out since then. I haven't played it in a while, so.
Okay, but you play strategy games, turn-based games, and colony
Yeah,
sims, roguelikes,
yeah.
lights, etc. Fair enough.
And a bunch of other stuff as well. I mean, I've got I like tower defense. You know,
Oh
I
my
play a
god,
lot of
there's not
flash
enough
games
tower defense
still.
in the world.
And yeah, flash games are another one that I like to play. Old things on Flashpoint.
Flash is no longer
That
supported.
was I know it's a shame. Flash
Hmm.
was the king of tower defense. That's where they all are. You want to go tower defense games? You go play Flash.
No, I just play Bloons because I got it free off of Epic.
Fair enough.
So how do you choose what games to play on stream? Because I'm curious. You play From the Depths and a lot of other really strange, out of the world niche games that nobody's ever heard of.
hmm Um, that's honestly, I build up a big list on my Steam in my wish list of just random things that people have mentioned to me over the years. And whenever I'm in need of a new game, I'll sort of just go through that list. It's sort of like my curated list of things that someone suggested to me, and I decided it was important enough, it was interesting enough for me to like just note it down and be like, yeah, I'll come back to that later. And so I go through that list and I sort of be like, yeah, that looks interesting. Maybe I'll play that next, or what have you.
Okay. Do you ever wonder if you could play different games, if that would help your stream?
Maybe. I mean, I've tried my hand at playing like the popular games and stuff that have come out, and all the everyone's playing, and honestly, I've noticed that I tend to do worse with those.
Okay.
Like back when I first started streaming, I didn't play niche games like this. I did play the top stuff. I played games like Overwatch and Fortnite for a bit, and what was the other one? I played like Warframe. That one's a pretty popular one. Dead by Daylight. Well, all these popular titles that a lot of people have heard of, and it was my rimworld stuff that started doing well. And then other games like playing XCOM Long War did pretty well for me.
That's fair. XCOM Long War is
So
actually doing more than XCOM Enemy Unknown on the YouTube. That's for sure.
yeah, yeah, it has a very dedicated community, that mod. So,
It does. And they're also very rabid, I found in the comments. Holy, some of those comments leave me going, okay, calm down.
Yeah,
Not all of us have
yeah,
put thousands of hours into XCOM. Holy.
yeah. The YouTube community for it, I do think is a bit more. I mean, the YouTube community for a lot of things is a lot more rabid, I suppose.
I believe it's pronounced rabid.
Accent.
It's not an accent. That's how it's pronunciated. Oh my goodness.
But yeah, I mean, because with my experience with the Twitch community for Long War was very nice. They didn't spoil anything, and I mean, they're generally quite good at that. I don't think I've seen any spoilers in the comments of your XCOM stuff, which
Not
is
yet.
awesome, by the way.
The only thing that they've been really, I don't want to say spoilering, is to get laser weapons. Lasers.
Yeah.
That's all I really ever see is get lasers and squad sight.
Yeah, it is true. With Long War, lasers are important because there's the difference is immense, and every weapon has like different like secondary benefits and things like that. It's there's a
We
long
literally finished
wait.
researching weapons on our recording this last Sunday. We finished researching. We bought the weapons.
Yeah.
It takes 10 days to build laser weapons. What is that? 10
It
days.
does take a while. Yeah, it takes a while. And that's why you got to get them early, is so you can.
We got
not
them
get
early.
bodied.
That's like our third research.
Yeah, it took me a good amount of time for me to get like sink my teeth into an actual run of Long War. I had a lot of failed runs, and the only successful one that I had was I immediately rushed laser weapons. That was like my first thing. Was I started the game, I immediately maxed out satellites and I rushed lasers, and that was like the only way that I was able to survive the the enemy AI beginning to ramp up at a certain month.
Okay, well, I can tell you that we have lasers coming around. My biggest problem with lasers is they don't really tell you what weapons are for what classes when you're building them. So you have to rely on the previous information that you were given, like what is a rifle versus a carbine. I don't know.
Yeah, there is a certain degree of that. Like the pattern does repeat for every tier, right? So like you have your basic weapons and your laser weapons, and an SMG on.
It's also different from the main game because, as I remember, a shatter ray was a shotgun, not a SMG.
Probably. I don't remember.
Either way, it's an SMG. We learned that by the hard way, but that's okay. Neither here nor there. We have laser weapons coming. In fact, I have to record for Sunday because we didn't get a long time to record because, unfortunately, we're busy. And you know, I've thought about maybe if Dot and my long war fall through, if you would be around to record YouTubes for it. But it's a lot, as I realize. It's like 4 hours a month, bare minimum, for recording like a month worth of content. And that's a lot to ask a content creator to be like, hey, you got 4 hours to play a game?
I mean, you know, I could probably find time for sure. So.
That's fair. Perhaps. I will see. I don't know what we're doing with Long War or if I'll do a second run of Long War. But that answers a lot of my questions regarding choosing games and what you play. But one question that came up while you're talking, you mentioned you're from the good old Britland. What made you come out here to Canada, specifically to Alberta?
Well, I was 14 at the time when my parents moved. So
you couldn't become a street urchin? I've seen a lot of movies about that.
I couldn't become a street urchin. There's no chimneys left to clean, sir.
I see. And so is it natural gas over there? I thought it was still chimneys.
Well, I mean, there are still a lot of houses that have chimneys, you know, and a fireplace. But you know, of course, you know, it's not entirely relied upon. You know, you do have central heating. But it depends on the age of the house. A lot of houses are, you know, some houses in England are older than Canada. So, you know.
Naturally, because Alberta joined Canada back in 1905. It's like 120 years ago.
Yeah. And,
but you moved over because your parents moved over, and that was it. I assume it was for work that they moved over, or why did they come over?
Well, they came here on their honeymoon, and they decided they really liked it. I think they went to Banff, so they were like, "Yeah, we're gonna come back and live here," and so they did.
You could just do that. You could just go to a place and be like, "I'm gonna live here."
Yeah,
that's so weird. I get that Banff is beautiful and all, but like, I don't know. I've yet to find a place that I would much rather live than, you know, out here in Alberta. My second best city would be like Quebec City. It's beautiful. It's got great culture. It's basically Calgary, except to a lesser degree. Their mountains are smaller. Their rivers smaller. Sure, they have a lot more culture out that way, but it's all French. But it's like everything is everywhere. And that's why I like being out here in Alberta. I could go to the desert. I could go to the mountains. I could go to America. I'm 3 hours away from America. I could drive there very easily. I'm available to go to almost every biome, which is why I like this. And it's possibly the gamer in me that's like, oh, it's a biome. I get to go to all these different areas. But like, I don't know. I don't know if I'd want to live anywhere else.
Yeah, I mean, it's a complicated question, isn't it? Because like, there's a lot of things that factor in. Because there's definitely like, you know, you got like the cost of living, you got, you know, the environment, that kind of thing. Me myself, like if I was gonna move, I would probably go to Japan or Italy.
Why?
Both of those. Well, I've heard. I mean, you know, I wouldn't just up and move. I'd go there on holiday first, but you know, just to see if it for sure is what is there for me. But like, you know, both of those are places that I've had a lot of interest in going to.
Is it because you read so much manga? Like, I don't understand Italy.
Well, okay, so I mean, Japan is Japan. I've heard it's really good. I've had people, friends and family who have gone there. My sister's gone there. And nobody's ever had anything bad to say about it. You know, the roads are clean. It's a lovely place. You know, good weather. Um, and you know, I already speak a bit of Japanese, so you know, I'd be down to go there and check it out. And of course, you know, anime and mango. But then Italy is more related to my music, because Italy is one of the most popular areas for, I mean, Italo disco, which comes, this is sort of what birthed space synth, the music that I'm into. It's in the name, Italo. It's Italy. It comes from there. It's super popular, or at least it was super popular, and that's sort of like where the history of it is. On top of the fact that Italy itself is just a beautiful country, a very nice environment, architecture, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I heard it's also beautiful. The Mediterranean Sea. It's middle of Europe. Like it's pretty nice from what I've seen on the Google anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you'd want to try seeing Japan and Italy, and then possibly living there, but you wouldn't want to go back to Britland.
Not really, no.
Why not? They have fish and chips. They have rain.
they do. They do have fish and chips. There's a lot of reasons. You know, and
they speak your language.
Yeah, how to put it? There's a lot of reasons. Some of them are quite political, and I'm not going to get into that.
That's fair. There's a lot of bad politics going around these days, and I feel like everything is bad politics. I actually had a discussion last Thursday with Chin about how politics kills everything it touches. In fact, I argue it killed that episode because people did not like how we addressed a little bit of we not caring about politics. But I'm not going to get into it with you because, quite simply, I don't care about politics. So we're going to gloss over that and move on.
Sure.
You mentioned you're drinking a tea right now. What is your tea of choice? Do you change it often? Do you just have one side of tea? Because you get tea time during your stream. You take breaks. Imagine taking breaks as a streamer. How dare you?
Yeah, I mean, I have a couple teas that I'm fond of. I like black tea more than green or herbal or white tea.
Why black?
Just prefer the flavor, really, but it goes better with milk and sugar. You know, and again, being British,
milk and sugar, you're rude. Oh, I hate you. I hate
being
your
British,
tea.
I dunk biscuits in it as well. So, you know, because I'm a Brit and it's what we do as our culture.
Don't get me wrong. I'm a good tea enjoyer myself. In fact, I used to drink a ton of tea because streaming really wore out my voice a lot. So I would have a ton of tea on hand. I drink it at work. I'm trying to get off energy drinks. I've been swapping out with tea more often than not. And I'm an Earl Grey drinker, mostly because I like the oil and I don't have to add like milk or sugar to make it palatable.
Yeah, I mean, for me, whether or not I have milk or sugar depends on the tea, right? So like herbal, green, and white tea, I have it just straight, right? But with black tea, I find, you know, it's too bitter to have it just on its own, at least for me. So at the very least, I have milk in it, and of course, I'll have sugar sometimes as well, especially if it's more of a breakfast tea, that kind of thing. Also, my favorite tea is a Tetley brand of chai. It's a black tea, and it's quite sweet on its own. So I can have it with just milk. It's got a nice cinnamony flavor as a chai.
I've never had chai tea. Somebody offered it to me once, and I said no.
Yeah, it's a nice tea. There's a lot of different kinds of chai. Like, you know, you'll have two teas that are named chai, and they'll both taste completely different. So, you know, you sort of got to find one that tastes nice for you, I suppose. And for me,
you're recommending Lipton.
Tetley.
Okay, I drink Lipton for my Earl Grey. Why do you go with Tetley?
Just happens to be the one I like, really. Like I said, you know, different teas taste different. So, you know, you got to try like a whole bunch and really find the one that works for you. And,
Chad has told me that chai means tea, so you keep saying tea.
It does. It's very funny that they've decided to name that, but that's one of those things where, like, you know, you bring over a word from China or Japan or something, and you know the old merchants that heard it first were like, you know, oh, you know, this is chai, it's tea, And so the merchant's like, oh, chai tea, you know, and markets it as that over wherever.
Okay. So
Back home.
do you just like buy random teas? Did your parents get you into tea? How did you do all this?
Yeah, if I see a tea that looks interesting, I'll just pick it up and be
okay,
like,
all right.
You know.
So how do you just see tea in the wild? How do you find a tea that you're like, this looks interesting. Yes, I'm gonna try this tea.
There's a restaurant actually that I go to. That
What's a restaurant? I don't dox yourself, but if you can, what's a restaurant?
Yeah.
Is it a chain or?
That is a good question.
Then let's not answer to avoid doxing yourself, but a restaurant that just does tea, like a cat cafe, but with tea?
Yeah, kind of. So they do food. But
like
yeah, they also have like a tea selection. So you can
Is it British?
No, actually, I believe it is. I believe it is not British. But yeah, they have like a big selection of teas, and you can just order a tea with your meal, and then they just bring you the tea, and then you can actually go to the counter at the end after you're done, and you can just pick up like a box of that tea or something. And then, you know, if you find that and you find one you like, you can just go and buy some at the supermarket or whatever if you can find it there. But all the time, also, I'll just be browsing at the supermarket and see a tea that looks interesting. I'll just pick it up. Like recently, actually, one of my new favorite teas is this English breakfast. It's like a Peter Rabbit themed English breakfast tea. So it's got like this very traditional like English drawings of the character Peter Rabbit on the side of it, and it comes in like just a big tin, and it's a very smooth tea, very kind of milky flavor. Good breakfast tea.
So how do you choose what tea looks good to try?
Mostly, I mean, same as any old thing that you see in the market, you know? It's like if it
no, because I've been to the tea aisle so many times, and I look at the boxes in tea and I go, wow, this is a mirage of colors. Let me find my Earl Grey. It's in a yellow box. I will take this yellow box, please.
Yeah, I mean,
there's nothing special about my Earl Grey. There's no Peter Rabbits. There's no diagrams of a like balloon or a zeppelin. It's a yellow box.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, the Peter Rabbit one was kind of that's kind of the reason I picked it up, is because it was so unique. I saw it and I was like, wow, you know, I've never seen a tea like that before. I gotta have this. And so I picked it up and I was like, yeah, and then it was great. And now I got like 3 whole massive cans of it, and it'll last me about 6 years.
So you buy tea based on anime rabbits?
It's not anime. It's traditional English, so it's very Wind in the Willows, you know.
So cartoon rabbits?
I guess, yeah. It's you know, your watercolor painting kind of thing. Okay,
so you like watercolor painting tea boxes?
I mean, you know, look it up and you'll see, you know. But it's a very cute, almost cottagecore style, you know.
What brand is it again?
It's all I know is that you can find, if you look for like Peter Rabbit English breakfast tea, you know, it should come up with that.
Peter Rabbit English breakfast bunny tea box.
Yeah.
What is this?
Yeah, it's like a big tin. It's got a whole bunch of tea in it. It's very cute.
And this is what you like?
Well, I mean,
I'm judging you so hard right now.
Me liking the tea is entirely separate to the design of the packaging. The packaging.
But you bought the tea because of the packaging.
I did. It looked awesome. I was like,
did you buy the one that came with the rabbit doll?
No, I didn't buy the one with the rabbit doll.
Do you want the rabbit doll?
I'd take a Peter Rabbit doll. That's awesome.
Apparently, it's just called Peter Rabbit Tea Caddy. Yeah. With 80 English breakfast tea bags. It's literally just Peter Rabbit.
It's a good tea. It's independent of the tale of Peter Rabbit, you know.
What is an English breakfast tea?
Well, it's a breakfast tea. So it's designed to go with your English breakfast. So it's a tea that just has a good flavor that goes nicely with, toast and sausage and beans and egg and that kind of thing. I don't know
so first off, I'm like the only person I know that likes beans on toast with sausage. Like, I assume you're talking breakfast sausage as well.
Well, you can have a pretty standard sausage if you want.
Well, I mean, the only other sausage I like aside from breakfast sausage is farmer's sausage, but that's neither here nor there.
Mm.
I'm not a very good sausage or hot dog fan. I don't like my cased meats, if you know what I mean.
Fair enough. See, I like sausage. I like a good sausage. I've liked sausage since I went to market back in England, and we had the market stalls up, as you do.
As you do.
Over there in quaint England, and there was a bunch of Germans had a stall, and they had like massive sausages and just like all sorts of meats just dangling from the top of their stall. And I got one of those German sausages. Best thing I've had in my life.
Okay. Do you get your beans on toast to be Canadian now? Because they have a lot of like beans that have maple syrup in their tomato sauce.
Yeah, no, I get the English style.
You don't? Oh my god, the maple syrup actually goes so well.
It's not even that I get the English style beans. I go to import stores to get beans. Because the English style baked beans in Canada are not English style.
What do you mean? It says English style on the can.
It's not the same. It's different. It tastes different.
Okay. Apparently you're a very particular beaner. Ooh, that might be a racist term, but luckily you're not that race. Oh boy, wait till this gets up on YouTube and I can't get monetized because I said a word. Oof.
Oh no.
Oh no, YouTube. Anyways, so you go to a really weird selections for your food and stuff. How can you even afford that sort of stuff?
Well, got money.
Okay, good. Well, I'm glad you came from royalty. Oh boy. I only asked because I know that you were having a problem finding a job, and so am I. I'm currently trying to apply to new jobs, and I tell you, the job market is complete ass. I've applied to over 20 places, and people are filling up, and I've gotten no interviews. I feel like you've been in the same boat because a couple months ago you were talking about, all the different jobs you were having. So I'm just curious, do you still have a job? I don't remember.
Not right now, no. Because I'm waiting to deal with my wrist. I thought I had to quit.
What happened to your wrist?
Well, I have chronic issues with it, and my ulnar, which is the bone on, if you put your helmet in front of you, palm down, the ulnar is the bone on the outside. Mine is too long, and so it's causing my wrist bones to all sort of be compressed together.
Can you get that surgery fixed for you with Alberta Healthcare?
Yes, I can, but it's taking time. So,
so you're
it's
in
one of
line?
those situations. Sorry?
You're in line to get the surgeries?
Yeah.
Wow. How long have you been in that line? Because I feel like this has been at least a year since I've heard about your wrist issues.
Yeah, no, I started talking to my doctor about it last year in June-ish. That was about when I got my x-rays. So that was 2024 June, thereabouts.
Okay, so it's been about a year. I imagine you'll probably be waiting another year. I deal with a lot of doctors and stuff, and it's about a 2-year wait for like an MRI if you're not a work-related injury right now, which is crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, my MRI definitely took a long time to come through, but I had that all done a while ago.
Well, I hope you get in sooner than later so that it doesn't cause a lot more issues with having to go through the surgery. I also hope that you're a younger guy. I feel like you're pretty young. I want to pick you as a late 20s kind of guy.
Yeah, I actually turned 30 this year, so...
Oh my God, you're old. This surgery's gonna fail. I've watched enough Rimworld to know it's gonna critically fail, and they're gonna cut your head or something.
Yeah, I'm gonna get 3 stabs in the leg.
I've played enough rimworld to know that myself. But yeah, I hope you get through there, because I also have wrist issues, but it's not anywhere that is just a surgical thing. It came from, I used to play like games very professionally, very competitively. I was going semi-pro in Counter-Strike and StarCraft back when I was young, where if I wasn't in school, I was practicing video games or at work, and I got forearm tendonitis at the age of 17 because I was so aggressive in my training. That's when I realized I'm not going to go pro because I value my wrist. But I've always had wrist issues because I'm a gamer. I play games. I'm on a computer almost all the time. I like this podcast because I don't have to use my wrist. I've been tucking my wrist in my arms to help flex it and stretch it and everything. But, I've had wrist issues myself, especially in the right hand, which I think you said was yours, right?
Yeah, it's my right hand. Although
That's
apparently
rough
I do
because that's
have,
your mouse.
yeah, I do have the same issue on my left hand. It's just that because I don't use my left hand as much, it doesn't cause as much irritation.
This is where I'd
but-
go unhinged and make a bad comment about which hand you use to masturbate, but we're going to gloss over that. Oh my God. Yeah, exactly. Can we get some in chat? That was a rough comment. So what
And I was just
started
about to mention
you?
how my sister has it too.
I didn't know you had a sister. This is now very awkward. Is she hot? Is she single? Does she like angry bald men?
No, I think she likes girls actually.
I could be no. So you just have a sister? Do you have any other siblings?
Nah, just a sister.
Okay, and you have 2 dogs, I hear.
Yes, 2 golden retrievers.
That I can never remember their names or tell the 2 apart. I'm not gonna lie, I hate your dogs because I never get to see their pictures. Everybody, if you guys don't know, he has a redeem on his channel for like a couple thousand channel points. You can get a picture of his dog while he goes and takes his tea break, and he always puts up a picture of a dog. But I watch him while I'm at work, so I'm actually in audio only. So he goes on his tea break, and I'm jamming to no music and no picture of a dog. And I'm just like, everybody else is having a grand old time looking at this cute little dog. And I'm sitting over here like, maybe I'll find another channel to watch.
I got to figure out a way to like put the dogs into audio format for Zam.
What if you made your dogs into like hold music and that played while you were getting your tea? Just some hold barking. You know, I'm taking motivation from the dogs barking Christmas jingles, and I feel like you could do the same with on hold music or elevator music.
Yeah. Just have that box be like that. Maybe.
Fair enough.
It'd be difficult to get them to cooperate with the recording.
Yeah, I mean, you could just have a recording and play with your dogs in the room, right?
Maybe.
But I did want to ask you, what got you onto Twitch?
That's a good question. I was told when I started streaming, I was dealing with a lot of mental issues, and as is the case for a lot of people that turn to streaming. But I was told that I had a good voice, and people thought I was entertaining, so I should try streaming. What do you mean I kind of am?
I mean, you could be more entertaining, right?
Gonna entertain you.
Oh, okay, all right. I'll box your ears, mate. Swear at me, mum.
Yeah, no, but I was told, I had a good voice for it, and so I was like, yeah, why not? I'll try it, and turns out I kind of like it, so I just kept doing it.
So if you don't have a job and you like streaming, why don't you like put all the effort in and like go hard and try and become popular and big streamer, big man?
I did that for a while, and it sort of didn't really go much of anywhere. And so these days, like, I'm trying more to focus on my real life, just a bit. Look after my family, that kind of thing. At least
I
for the
see.
time being, especially while I'm dealing with all my medical stuff, you know.
And that's not just some excuse, because some streamers do have excuses like that, where it's like, oh, I have to take care of my family, but your family can pretty much be taken care of anytime you're not on stream. And I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I just know a lot of people use that excuse of trying not to be big as a streamer. For me personally, it's not because I'm not taking care of my family. It's because this is a hobby. I don't want to be famous. I definitely don't want my name spread around, because I'd much rather not become a full-time streamer. I would much rather just, live life, not be known.
I mean, it's not. I don't know. Not necessarily that, like, my family needs taking care of, but more just that, I want to spend time with them while I can. So maybe I'm just, that's me being European. But,
Wow, so
you know.
European.
It's very, we have I have a very close relationship with them, so I don't like to I'm trying to spend less time isolated,
Have you ever thought about having your family involved in your streaming, watching your streaming? Like, why don't they stop by chat?
Well, my parents are not really stream folk. They'll spot me in their own way, but they're not the type of people to watch the stream. They'd much rather read a book or something. And my
They're very
sister's usually
British.
off doing her own thing. She's
Okay.
very hyperactive.
So a friend just randomly told you about Twitch.
Yeah. I don't remember who exactly. It might have even been family, to be honest. But
The family? Okay.
yeah, it's been a while. I don't remember.
How long have you been on Twitch now?
Oh gosh, like 5 years.
5 years. That's
Yeah.
it. Fun fact, that's as long as I've been streaming as well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm about to start my 6th year here in exactly a month from today.
Oh, congrats. I don't actually remember when I specifically started streaming because a lot of my early streams were not much to write home about, and I didn't bother to remember them or anything. I could probably find when I started streaming on one of those like streamer history sites, but
I mean, I could literally look it up right now and find out. It would take me less than 30 seconds, but that's not something I want to do, because I don't think it's really important about when you started streaming. It's more of like how long you've been streaming, how much you've been streaming, what you've been streaming, what you've been doing, what you want to even do with it really is the biggest thing.
yeah, that is a good question. And for a while, I've sort of just been streaming as a method of sort of just getting some social interaction, that kind of thing. Was especially how I started, right? Was just trying to be less isolated. Because again, I was sort of coming out of this like post-unit, like I went to university and ended up with a lot of mental troubles because of that. And so I was coming out of my depression, and now I was sort of using streaming to sort of put my leg in the door to get myself back into being able to talk to people again, that kind of thing.
So let me ask you very awkward questions now. You talked about your
Sure.
mental illnesses for at least 4 times, even now, and that's like once every 10 minutes or 15 minutes. What are your mental illnesses?
30 years of undiagnosed autism. It's pretty much it.
One mental illness is autism.
Yeah, autism, ADHD. Pretty sure I have both of those. Pretty severe depression as well. Coming in through university.
Why are you so sad, bro?
Because I don't know, man.
That's okay. I've gotten the big sads usually from streaming. Actually, when I have a really shitty stream, I get really in my feels off that. But I don't think I did have depression. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think I have it anymore. I think I got over it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I was gonna say, like, it's not necessarily sadness so much as it is like a numbness, right? It's just not being able to feel pretty much anything, and just sort of, wasting a lot of time because you don't feel like doing anything.
See, I don't have that problem. I'm always productive. I feel
Mhm.
bad when I'm not productive.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't stop me from feeling bad, but it also doesn't motivate me to do anything, and then that just sort of creates a feedback loop of things getting worse, and that's a loop I was stuck in for a long time, and I still struggle with. So,
Okay, so let me
yeah,
ask
man.
you another question. It's basically for permission for me to continue doing this. I'm still going to do it regardless whether you give me the permission or not. But I
Oh,
did
okay.
take that autism test and I scored very low, as you recall.
Hmm.
But I've always considered autism to be a superpower. And so I kind of stuck my foot in my mouth. Last time I was playing Elden Ring, I was complaining about how I can't like zone in, I can't focus on the game, I can't lock in like other people do. And I mentioned how I wished I had autism just a little bit, just so I could get the superpower that comes with autism, not the curse. I've seen a lot of people with the curse. Don't get me wrong. It's a double-edged monkey paw. I would much rather just get the superpower. So if I could just steal like maybe
Hmm.
like 10 points of your autism so I could lock in on video games and fucking succeed, I would love that. But that apparently upset people. Saying I wish I had autism was
Oh,
very
really?
upsetting. Is that okay for me to say? Do you think that's a problem? Am I insulting you when I say I wish I had a little bit of autism?
I don't mind it at all. It's I think it's funny, but
So you're giving me the
again, like,
autism card right here live on air?
well, I'm not diagnosed officially yet, so you gotta wait.
Ah,
You gotta wait for
shit.
that.
Well, once you get officially diagnosed, let me know because I need that autism card because oh my
Right,
god,
I will
I'm
uncancel you on Twitter. Don't you
I'm
worry.
sorry. I really respect the ability for people with autism to just laser focus in on things. I
Hmm.
understand, it's not all sunshine and roses, but I tell you, I really do wish sometimes that I could just focus because I kind of feel like I have ADHD or whatever it is, where I'm just
Hmm.
bouncing around everywhere and I never can really just focus on one thing and care about one thing. I'm kind of bouncing around from all the different hobbies that I do. Like I have a serial hobby problem. Or video games. How I get bored of playing a video game after a while and then bounce to another game. And it's so hard to just focus in and care about something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to the whole focus thing, it really depends because it's not necessarily a I can't just toggle it, I can't just boom focus.
Oh, it's not
It
like
does have to
cheats, you
be.
just cheat on?
Yeah, you have to be interested in what you're focusing on, right? Like, and as soon as there's like some level of like, ooh, this is interesting to me, it's like that's when it becomes like laser. It's like for me, I like to hunt for lost media, right? This is a hobby of mine, um, and I can spend like literally multiple days doing that without eating like properly, without sleeping properly, not like just foregoing basic human needs because I found something like some old TV show or song or something that has been lost to time, and I need to find it.
I
And
I
so I
get
I
that,
will
but don't
spend.
get me wrong. These are things that I'm interested in. I was playing Elden Ring. I love that fucking game. It's just
Mhm.
I get into a boss fight and then I get distracted by its flashy move and then I'm dead. And
Mhm.
then I spend 200 deaths dying to this flashy move, and it's just like I'm very interested. I could go so much further. I could care so much more if I had the autism, where I could be like,
Mhm.
okay, these are the builds I want. These are the stats I want. I could research it. I could do all that information to get better and get good. But I feel
Yeah.
like I'm a filthy normie and I suck shit at the game and I hate it.
Yeah. It definitely does help when I'm playing a game and I'm really fond of it, and I'm like, I need a deeper understanding of this, and so I break out a spreadsheet and you know.
I get
Uh,
it. I get it. I've only ever made a spreadsheet for one game, and that was Stardew Valley.
I have definitely done a few Stardew Valley spreadsheets. I've done a few Rimworld ones. I've done a few others as well. I don't remember all of them, but
I would
yeah, no, for
argue
sure.
my best rimworlding is because I watch you that goes into such intricate detail. Like I didn't know there was penetration on different levels of armor, and that like flak vests and flak jackets were completely better than marine armor, for example, because you have multiple different penetration values.
Yeah, yeah, it's weird and how the armor works, and
But that's something
there's a
I
lot
would
that
not
like
have known
yeah.
because I don't have the autism to focus on that. I'd just be like, oh,
Yeah.
marine armor is so totally better.
Yeah, I mean yeah, it's there's things in Rimworld that even I still learn. Like here I am with what 6,500 hours in that
I
game,
have
and
2,000.
I've been playing since Rimworld was in alpha, right? I've been playing since back when you could order turrets to attack something manually, and they fired 3 bullets instead of 2. Those were the days.
Nobody cares how many
uh,
bullets they shot except for people like you. Like I just thought the turret just shot.
Yeah, no, they used to fire 3 bullets, and you could actually tell them they had like a little button on them, so you could click the turret and then tell it
Right,
to
like
aim at a
manual
specific target.
attacking, targeting.
Yeah,
I get you.
so
I've played with those, yeah.
yeah, and so you could have like a bunch of turrets and just like light up any animal that came too close to your colony without having anyone even near it, so you didn't have to hunt or anything like that. It was very silly back in alpha. But yeah, like even I still learn new things every now and then. Even not even necessarily about like the new updates, but just about the game in general. Just things that have been in the game for years and years, and I've never really
I
interacted
don't
with those
notice these
mechanics
things.
or
I've
whatever.
played thousands of hours myself. In fact, I would argue RimWorld is my favorite game, and I'm so disappointed that I don't get to play it as often as I want. And I feel like that's because for streaming, I'm picking games that help me with stream rather than what I want to stream. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. And it's one thing that like I did for a long time, and then I decided I'm just going to play what I want. And because to me, it's more important that I'm playing a game that I want to play, as opposed to a game that people want to watch. Because I did that a lot with Girls Frontline. Right? This kind of ties back to my gacha game thing. Really, is that people wanted to watch Girls Frontline, but I just didn't want to play gacha anymore. I was like. I was doing all of these events and things, and I was a very competitive player in it as well because I kind of had to be. Girls Frontline had a whole ranking system. You had to get a certain placement in the events that would happen, otherwise, and in order to get like the unique rewards. So I always had to get like top 5% or something like that of the whole player base, which was difficult because I was competing with people who were sinking thousands of dollars in the game. And so like it just got to the point where like I was so fed up with playing gacha. I didn't want to play it anymore, and I was like, I don't really want to play anything that that I don't want to play. If I don't want to play it, why would I play it? It's just gonna
I
be a
get it.
bunch of time of me not having fun. So
Don't get me wrong. When I was playing my nikke, I hated it because I didn't have the autism superpower to give that much of a care of learning every single stat of every single girl and understanding how they work in conjunction with each other. I just went with girl has big boob.
I mean, that's how you should be able to play those games,
You say that, but
like,
I don't agree because I paid to win and I was still getting beat by people who actually cared and read about every single detail. I'm like, bro, why? Why can't I care?
I mean, yeah, I mean, obviously, someone who puts more time into a game and it reaches a higher skill level is going to have that level of advantage, right? It's the same thing as like playing Smash or something. Up against obviously someone who's playing competitively is going to mop the floor with someone who's just casually playing every Saturday. But when it comes to like character selection and which characters are good already, right? You should be able to play with your favorites. There should be some level of an advantage there that you can work with. And it is a shame that gacha always consistently, every single one, falls into the same habit of like obsoleting old characters by releasing new ones.
Yep. Yep. If you could make a gotcha game, what would the theme be about, and how would people actually earn in-game currency, and how would you make money off of it?
Gosh, I mean, I don't know if I would make a gacha game so much, because I wouldn't want to like lock a character behind RNG or anything like that. But if I was, I mean, it would probably be some sort of milsim, probably robot girl related. You know me.
Why do you like robot girls so much? Like you brought up IDF, the robot cat girl. Why do you like robots in a potentially sexual way?
Potentially. I just like robots. I mean, it's I don't know. I mean, I how to put it? I'm personally not very attached to my flesh, I suppose. If I had to just put that out there.
So you like robots because you want to be a robot?
I wouldn't mind being one, you know. The concept of bionics is very interesting to me. It's one of the reasons I play Rimworld. You know, I'm technically transhumanist, I guess you could say, is the Rimworld term for it, the real world term for it as well, I guess. You know, I believe that there is a potential for more than just being flesh and blood, you know. It'd be cool to be a robot. And you know, it's just a cool thing. I don't know.
So the neurochips that Elon Musk has been working on, where the guy played Civilization 6 all night, why don't you want a brain chip then?
The issue is not the technology; it's who's giving it to me.
So let me get this right. You would totally get a brain chip if it was anybody else, like if it was Bill Gates.
No, I mean, if it was, you know, a reputable source, you know,
NVIDIA.
And
would you get an NVIDIA brain chip 2060?
I'd probably not. No, I mean, there's a difference between, you know, the fantasy of cool brain chips and bionic upgrades and the reality of pretty much any implant being a risk.
A risk of?
Well, just there's the state of, you know, like the whole data harvesting operation going on, you know.
You know, everybody already has your data, so what's more from getting it straight from your brain?
That's a very weak argument, I find. The whole everybody already has your data. There's always more data to get.
Everybody has. What more data can you give? You've given your name, usually your phone number, your email address. Some people probably even have your social security number. What more can they get from you?
See, that's the thing is, until I started looking for a job, I didn't get any like spam calls or anything at all. And then I did give my resume a few times, and bam, spam calls. So it is possible to avoid having your data stolen. You just need to, you know, be privacy minded about it.
But now they have your phone number, so like, what does that matter?
Yeah, but I mean, you know, there's other data they don't have.
So you get a couple annoying phone calls. Is that the worst they've done with your data?
Yeah, that's my phone. We're talking about a brain chip here.
So they could call your brain directly. Is that a big problem?
Yes, that's a big problem.
How is that possibly a problem?
Because I don't want random fucking spam calls being redirected directly to my brain.
Yeah, but they would need your brain phone number.
It sounds so incredibly annoying.
That sounds incredibly annoying. 2 o'clock in the morning. Boop, 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 doop. Gorlath, have you heard about this new scam that we're running? How about you give us some money? Oh my goodness.
If I was going to get into my whole, you know, like wanting to be a robot thing, it'd be kind of similar to, you know, like you got your Warhammer 40k Mechanicus kind of guys, you know, like I crave the strength and certainty of steel.
So what's wrong with putting steel in your fatty brain gray matter?
It doesn't change the fact that my fatty bray grain matter still exists. Get rid of that. Make it
Get rid of all of it.
metal.
Just
Yeah,
make it all metal.
Yeah,
What
exactly.
what if that just completely just makes you a robot and you lose being Gorlath?
Well, see, that's part of the that's part of the, like, obviously the philosophical question, right, of Ship of Theseus, right? Let's say that, you know, you've got human brain intact, alive, ordinary, right? And you replace it one neuron at a time, you know, with a mechanical neuron, a robotic equivalent, right? Does that brain at some point stop being that brain, right? And that's a question that a lot of, like, AI and stuff like that has been asking. And this is one of the things I actually went to university for, was this kind of question.
So what do you answer with?
And the answer is we don't know, really. But
you can't say I went to school and I know all about it. Oh, we don't know.
Well, no, like, this is the thing, is it's one of these unresolved questions, right? Look, it's still heavily in debate. Now, my answer is not the we don't know answer. My answer is absolutely it's the same person, right? If you replace one neuron at a time, you don't interrupt any neural signals, you know, you do it exclusively in between each neuron firing. You make sure that you replicate all functions, you know, all the hormone influence of human hormones on neurons and et cetera, et cetera. You got the same person at the end of that, right? Same deal as, like, you know, how every cell in your body is replaced every 7 years, right? Same deal. You're still the same person as you were 7 years ago. Maybe your set of knowledge is different. Maybe your approach to things is different, you know, but you're still the same person. And so, like, I think, you know, it's the same. I forget where I was going with that, though. So,
you're just saying that if you became a robot, you'd be the same person and that you would not cease to be you.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, again, though, it would depend on the implementation. Obviously, you know, if you got if you had, you know, botched surgery, you know, stabbed 3 times in the leg, permanent brain scar, you know, then obviously there might be some changes. And again, that becomes once again an issue of, like, fantasy versus the reality of the situation. You know, like, we can imagine an ideal world in which, you know, you could perfectly replace someone's mind with a robotic alternative. You could upload them to the cloud or whatnot.
And you see that as totally fine, but a brain chip not fine.
Again, though,
because if you get uploaded to the cloud, what cloud are you going to use? Google, Microsoft? What AI are they going to use to combine with you? Like, what if Gorlath on the cloud only gets like 3 minutes of action and then 30 minutes of ads?
Yeah, see, that's the thing. I wouldn't want to be on the cloud anyway. So, like, you know, I'm saying there's an example. I wouldn't want to be because the cloud is just code for someone else's computer. Why
did we even bring it up that, I want to be on the cloud, I want to be a robot thing, but actually I don't want to be on the cloud. That's risky business.
It's just saying, like, you know, that this is, you know, that this is one possibility for some things people might want, you know, but it's or for something that might be possible, you know, existing in the virtual world or whatnot.
I don't know. I actually think that dying's a good thing. So I feel like I don't want to be a robot. And I don't want to be put in, like, the simulation to continue living. Man, living's a pain. Holy cow! Why are we doing this? Just let it have a time limit so that you know that you have some time to work with, but you don't have forever. Could you imagine being an office drone? 5,000 years into the future, and you're still droning on and on.
See, this is the thing, though, right? Like, if we had some level of you could be a robot, right? There's nothing stopping you from just leaving, right? Like, you don't need to breathe them on.
Unplug you. No, they can shoot you. Why do robots get human rights?
Because first of all, you are a human. Just, you know, you're technically a cyborg.
But you're a robot.
Right?
You're not a human.
I mean, you know, but if they've converted you from a robot from a human to a robot organically, you're still gonna be that human. Yeah, again, like, if we're discussing some dystopia where, you know, that's like where suddenly those people aren't considered human anymore, then sure, right? But I'm assuming that people are still considered people.
Why would they be considered people if they're robotic?
Because you started as a person. Do you consider someone not a person just because they got a leg replaced with a metal one?
If somebody's cloned, do I consider them the same person? I would say no. They've lost a critical part of them. What?
The clone is still considered a human, though.
I don't know if clones would be considered human. Like, for example, in Star Wars, the Clone Wars, right? None of those clones are really valued as much as a human or a Jedi or anything. They're just thrown to the wolves, right?
I mean, sure. And again, if we consider some dystopia where that's the case, then,
if you had a clone of yourself, would you consider them equal or lesser than you? Because I would consider a clone of me lesser. Holy shit, that's not me. That's somebody who's less than me.
Maybe a person the same as me, and
I don't know if I'd even treat a clone of me as a person.
I would. It'd be it'd be different, Obviously, from the moment that clone, assuming they're a perfect copy, they have the same memories as I do up until that point, right? Say whatever, or if they're not, who cares? Regardless. The moment they start existing, they're not the same person as me anymore, right? We're different. We have slightly different
you have the same DNA. Does DNA not make the person?
Identical twins.
Don't they have different DNA?
No, the same.
Do they? Today I learned.
Yeah, identical twins have exactly the same DNA.
Huh. So are all robots identical twins?
Well, I mean, if they come off of the same production line and made exactly the same way, I guess, yeah.
Are all cars twins? Like, for example, the same make and model.
I mean, I suppose technically, yeah. They're not really alive though, so.
How do we know? What if the OnStar or the home audio feature, whatever the equipment is a person that they put into the car? They totally murdered somebody, sucked their brain out, put it into a car, and like put aggression inhibitors and memory inhibitors on.
Welcome to Warhammer 40K.
This is a dystopian future that I don't want to become a car. Gorlath, what are we doing here? We've gone down this like theoretical wormhole of becoming robotic and becoming cars, and I hate it.
You've brought us here, friend.
Sometimes I wonder why I do podcasts. Oh boy.
Well, if you were a car, Zam, I wouldn't drive you too hard. I get you serviced a lot, all right? Promise.
The things I could say, like how I would take you for a ride. There's so many sexual Nintendos.
I would service you every day, Zam.
Oh boy, I feel like I need to change the topic very drastically after this. What is the worst thing that you have ever put onto your stream? Like a channel reward, a sound effect, a game, anything. What is the worst thing that you've done with your stream?
That is a good question.
It is. I've asked it every time to every streamer because the first person I brought on of Denikai, he really loved that question, and so I've been asking it since.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the follow-up question would be define worst, because there's been a lot of there's been a lot of bad. Like when it comes to streams that have just received like no engagement whatsoever, probably Dead by Daylight. When I'm playing that game, like I could have a fairly respectable number of views on my rimworld stream or whatnot, and then switch to Dead by Daylight the next day and get literally no one in chat for the entire
well, that's
stream.
Dead by Daylight for you. That's not necessarily you streaming.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, it's something that I put on the stream, and
fair enough. Have you ever taken off like a channel point or a redemption or a sound effect that annoyed you?
Yes. Yeah.
Which one?
I had a no pause redeem on my stream for a while.
God, yes. I love that.
That one was fun for a while, and then people just sort of like learned that they could just save it and just use it in a situation where I had to pause the game, or I would like part of the game mechanic would be pausing the game. For like a good example would be, I played Lost Train Home, which is like an RTS game.
All turn-based games like that would, I guess RTS games like that. Rimworld 2, when you get raided, you can't really stop, and it's part of it that you can pause and strategize.
Yeah, exactly. And then if you take that kind of thing away, especially when you're kind of relying on that whole pause mechanic, it's just like it becomes a quick like situation where there's nothing you can do and you just instantly game over, and then it's like, oh, okay, it just becomes reload the save. It's basically the no pause redeem was just load your lost save, hope it was recent.
Is that worse than Dead by Daylight, though, in your opinion, or any other thing you put on your stream?
But yeah, like that's the thing is, I don't necessarily know if it was the worst, because like again, Dead by Daylight is one of those things where I was literally just streaming a game of me playing with my friends, and no one was watching, so it was a waste of bandwidth.
Is that why you never collab? Because people don't like watching when you're with other people?
It's one of the reasons I don't collab with people who themselves aren't streaming. So, like, I do, I have nothing against collabing with streamers.
I've never seen you collab outside the time that me and Firestorm played with you in Castle Crashers last Zamcon.
Yeah, I mean, it's also a thing that I don't really reach out to people to collab.
Why not?
Mostly because of anxiety, I suppose. I don't like to bother people, I suppose. I always feel like I'm imposing, and it sort of keeps me from doing that kind of thing. But hey, I'm on meds that should fix that now. So
let me turn that around on you. Was I imposing when I said, "Hey, Gorlath, come to Zamcon, let's play rounds"?
Not at all. I've been trying to get you to play rounds for a long time.
So then why do you think you would be imposing?
Because my brain doesn't work. That's why.
All right, so maybe we should get you a robot brain that makes you stop being Gorlath, so you stop having anxiety.
It's a
maybe
lot more
that would improve you.
Why I would want to be a robot when I tell you about things like that, huh?
Well, for the record, we will be playing rounds. We are doing that during Zamcon 2. That's on Friday, October 17th. I'm sure nobody will actually care, but we'll have a fun time regardless. I'll probably be tired.
I love that it's taken you this long to play rounds with me.
Listen, I thought it was a completely different game. I thought it was like TKO.
Oh,
when you described it as every turn you draw something and it's going to be something new, and it's where you put powers against each other, whatever you drew against each other. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it's a little PvP game where you play as a little emote guy and you shoot the other person.
You shoot the other person. We're gonna have fun killing each other. Wow.
It's gonna be very fun.
Things you can say online, but not in real life. Wow, we're gonna have fun killing each other.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so then let me ask you other questions. Have you ever used AI in your streaming?
No, and I don't believe I ever will.
Why not?
How to put it? I consider AI is in my mind, it's one of those things that I have issues with the morality behind the whole training of the data set. A lot of the data, especially for like image generating AIs, is just sort of taken from artists without their permission. And that is something that as someone who draws, I take a big issues with.
You don't even draw that often, though.
I don't. I mean, my wrist is bad, so I can't. But
you could if you had a brain chip.
I could if I had a brain chip. Yeah, I could AI generate my own drawings. But no, because I often hear as well, like the community around AI as well is not that great. Like you'll see people arguing against the whole like arguing against artists being like, I don't like AI. And they'll say things like, AI exists to like remove it'll take a job like anything else, like similar to how like the computer eliminated like the typewriter and all that. It's like you either if you don't have a unique style, then you deserve to be sort of lost in this wave of AI. And it's a stupid idea because I know firsthand that artists with really unique styles can be replicated by AI, just like specifically trained on their stuff. So you can spend years training a unique style that nobody else can replicate, and in just a few hours someone can create an AI model that can perfectly replicate that. And so, like, there is no argument of be unique or you'll be replaced, because the moment you become unique, someone trains an AI model and now you're generic because that's it. Because they can just train it to do that. And, like, so I really don't like that. I don't like that. On top of that, the AI is always, like, it makes mistakes. It sort of hallucinates random things. And, this is the true of, like, any AI, right? Voice stuff, image gen, chat GPT, all this kind of stuff. It just makes shit up. So it's not reliable as, like, a data source. It's not reliable for recording voice for, like, say you want it to speak out some lines for you. It's not reliable for that because it can sometimes make, like, in the middle of its lines. Image generators aren't reliable because they can sometimes come up with an extra leg, or they just don't understand what you mean by.
Trust me, I know. I actually use AI for a lot of my YouTube thumbnails because I have to crop my camera out, and then I'm like, AI can totally replace my camera, right? And then I get monstrosities from the void. I have seen the differences that H.P. Lovecraft was talking about. I've seen the unknown horrors.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, I can understand the use of AI for, like, personal things. Like, AI is a great tool for certain things. A good example is, like, let's say you're playing Dungeons and Dragons, right? And you want to have an image for your character, right? You're going to be playing this character for one campaign, they might even die on session 2. You don't know, right? You can AI generate a character, right? Just there you go. That's my elf. It's got red hair and a face like a clam. There you go. And, like, it's perfect for that kind of thing, right? Little personal things, but I think I take issue with it when you reach the point of monetizing what it's generating, right? Because then you're profiting off of somebody else's hard work for basically nothing yourself.
I can see that. I have a lot of counterpoints to almost everything you said. I don't fully agree with you. I can understand where you're coming from. Don't get me wrong. I've had this conversation with almost every guest as well, because AI is a hot topic of the year. But my commentary really boils down to, for me, I see it being more of a mark of pride. I would love if AI turned around some sort of, like, Zam thing, and I get known as part of the founders of AI, and that my content was good enough to be made into AI and to support other people. Because from my perspective of my stream, I'm putting it out there. It's public material, if you want to say that, but it's not something that I'm like, oh, you can't rebroadcast my stream, you can't take my clips, you can't do anything with my content. My content, I already did it. It's now out there live. If you train an AI on my voice, it'll be weird, don't get me wrong, but I'll be, I want to say, complimented that somebody even wanted to take my voice, let alone any other material, art, mannerisms, stream. I think that's a huge compliment, and it would be a great legacy to leave behind, compared to being like, no, my art style is mine alone because I put enough work into it. But I understand your point. And I just have the opposing view that I would love to live forever of being made into an AI.
I mean, I can also see where you're coming from, but the problem that I have with that is that, one, this is often done, like, without permission, which is,
that's fine.
First of all, rude.
I give blank permission for anybody to use my material after I stream it.
Yeah,
except for, like, charity materials. Those are, like, for charity. It feels bad when you take something like that that's meant for something else and rip that off.
Yeah, and like, it's fine if, some people are okay with it, regardless, but a lot of people, they would like to at least be asked. But then on top of that, you've got the issue of the AI model trained with what you've made may not in any way be representative of your content at all. And a good example is like, so, like, again, like Google AI overviews, or like ChatGPT or something, drawing from a source that someone has given, and like research that someone has done, and just sort of conglomerating it into a larger answer, and like, so in the end, the fact that that person contributed to it has been lost, and that person has been completely forgotten, and the data that they have contributed to it is just, is now stored in the AI and never contributed to them. So like, it could end up being that, someone could take your voice and, make an AI with it that doesn't sound anything like you, but draws from, the knowledge of your voice, your accent, other information about it. And, you're completely forgotten. You're not relevant anymore. And this AI is still using what you contributed to it. And this is especially a problem with like art and things, right? Like if you've got an artist who contributes their work, willingly or unwillingly, to an AI, and like they didn't want it in there, and like, it's not necessarily that, like, the art generated with their art or their music or whatever it is that this AI is making, it might not be representative of what they make at all. It might not have anything relative to their style or relating to their style. It might not have anything related to anything that they've done, but like, it still draws from that data set, right? It still learned from that, and it was still used in the training of the AI. And if they didn't want that to happen, then like, that's not cool. And then people are then taking that AI that was trained on that, and they're using that to generate music, images, movies, whatever, that are then making money based on this person's contributions. And that person's seeing none of that, right?
I definitely understand that perspective. Don't get me wrong. I just don't. I know I mentioned earlier that I'm proud to be a part of it, and if I could live in legacy forever through AI, that's fine. But I would also argue that by contributing, even being an unnamed contributor, but that's more of my selfless nature there, where like for streamers, I would love to start a Twitch stream, a stream team where I support other people to become better streamers and stop being a streamer myself. So that's kind of like I would lose myself into becoming part of something bigger through other people. It's similar where I would lose myself to become part of a bigger thing through AI. So it still speaks to me, and I'm not here to make money off of what I create. I feel like there are people that definitely need to make money off the skills and the talents and everything they put into it. But I would also argue that we should not be holding ourselves back from advancing in the future just to keep old industries alive. So, for example, I would point to like TV. I'm glad we got rid of analog TV stations, and they're all digital or now online and streaming and all that. And I would frankly find it almost offensive if we were like, no, we cannot get rid of analog TV. It must stick around forever. We have to compensate these people because they put time and effort into being analog TV artists, whatever, broadcasters, and they're not willing to get caught up to the new digital age. And I feel like even newspapers these days, why do we subside or whatever? Why do we give money to people that are making newspapers? Nobody fucking cares about newspapers except for boomers. So I mean, I get the point of getting people paid for equal work, equal pay. I understand that. Don't get me wrong, but I do think that AI is going to drastically change our perspective on work and how we get paid, how careers even work.
Yeah, I mean, the reality of the situation is that, AI is probably here to stay, right? But it doesn't change the fact that I personally, I don't think that the way that it has been trained up until now is acceptable, really.
I counter with that's exactly how every single human has been trained. Every single human's been trained off of somebody else's material, off somebody else's inspiration, if you would call it that.
the difference is that in order to create something, right, you have to put effort into it, right? You have to put time and effort into it. You have to learn how to, do the skill. You don't have to do that with AI. You can just like plug in some stuff. Like you completely bypass that whole like that whole requirement to have skill, which means you're inherently undermining everyone who was put in the time and effort uh to learn how to do those things, and you're sort of just, you're undercutting them using their own work, right?
So
If that makes sense.
it does, but here's where it goes further for me. Because I don't know how to draw lines and fill in shades and pick colors and watercolor ink, whatever, decide what colors I'm using. Why would that be a problem with me using, say, Photoshop instead of using paints and oils? Because this is a very similar argument when Photoshop came around. Oh, it's not real art. It's not anywhere similar. It's ruining art from artists. It's the same sort of argument with AI. It's ruining art for artists, but it's the same technology jump.
The difference is that, first of all, Photoshop didn't require it didn't require anyone else's art.
It didn't require the skills to make
right.
a lot of art out of art.
Well, it still required skills, different ones, yes. And in a way, AI also requires a set of, you need to know how to prompt
skills. Good. Yeah.
But at the same time, like, the source of AI art is the theft of art from people who have put time into
Maybe
making,
I'm
right?
just accepting that theft is a normal human thing, that we all steal from each other, either because we're using people as inspiration, but it might be because I also don't agree with a lot of DMCA rules. I think those are really old, outdated for an analog world.
I mean, I agree. DMCA is not.
It needs to be updated. I don't know what the best option is, because I do understand that if you create something, you should get paid and you should be able to hold the proprietary information. However, like Mickey Mouse, Walt Disney's fucking dead. Why does he still get the mouse that he drew 100 years ago? Why can't we draw Superman, who's been around forever?
Yeah, and like I definitely like get that. And to me, there's a difference, right, between like something that that you have put time and effort into making, and then something that someone has made by just like typing in a few words on a computer. It's a similar thing as, like, someone who handcrafts like a vase or something versus a vase that was churned out of like a factory or whatever, right? And the handcrafted one is it's going to be the less popular one, like, because it's handcrafted, you can't mass produce it or whatever. And AI is kind of the same as that, right? It's this industrial production of art. But I don't know.
Well, I mean, that's a very solid argument, and it puts a lot of perspective into the same different perspectives we have, because manufacturing is almost the same sort of thing, that it killed making things yourself, putting the value on the crafting your things, handcrafting vases, for the example you used. People were probably upset that, the manufactured ones are stealing the same sort of design or whatever, and they were like, now it's not as good, and you stole the pattern from someone. And I see that, but like, I'm on pro. I want mass-produced goods. I want to just enjoy my AI slop. How dare you prevent me because you're worried I stole from someone else?
Yeah, for me, the difference between, like, a factory producing a vase versus a handcrafted vase, and and then like an AI producing art or music or whatever, versus someone else, is that like a vase, sure, it's artistic in some ways, but it's a practical thing, right? It exists to hold stuff. It has a purpose.
I put it on the floor usually for beauty points, so that people don't see their bedrooms are awful.
Exactly. But
that's a
like,
Rimworld reference, chat.
hey, you got to plant like a one of two plants in it.
Mm.
Anyway, but the purpose of like drawings and music and whatnot isn't like there is no practical purpose for those,
It's
right? Like there
entertainment.
you
What do you mean? That's practical.
but like this is the thing, right? Is that they are um you can't like do with anything with them aside from enjoy them, right? And that in and of themselves makes them something that is valued differently to me. And having an AI just generate, you know, an image or or a song or you know whatever or a story, it's like that's the kind of thing where I want to see something that someone has made with effort, and AI is like the antithesis of effort. It is the easiest shit to do, and I know this because I have had, you know, I've played around with AI myself when it was new. I was like, oh, this is cool, and I tried it out for a while. And nowadays, like you know, you can get some crazy shit going on with AI, and it's one of those things where I would rather, just as a person, I would rather consume a piece like some sort of content that someone has put effort into, that someone has dedicated their time to, and it feels wrong. It feels cheap, I suppose, to give my time as a consumer to an AI that you know that some piece of content that some AI creator has made in about 5 minutes. You know,
Now
and
I
it's just
fully
like
agree. That's a different argument of the stealing and the generation of it. Now, here's where I fully agree, and I had this comment last week with Chin, was AI songs by streamers drive me batty because they are poorly designed, poorly done. There's no effort. It comes off incredibly cringy because there
mhm.
was no human input into it. And it's usually somebody who has no skill or no wherewithal to understand what makes a good song. And so all these streamer songs are trash, cringe, not worth watching, not worth supporting. And I fully agree where you're coming from, where if a person puts effort into it, that can change how it's used. And it
Yeah,
doesn't come off lazy if you add extra effort. If you just slop something out, yeah, you're going to agree that it's going to be something that, why am I watching the slop?
exactly. And this is the next. This is sort of what ties it together into my whole. I don't like AI because it's but like from the creator side, is because if you're gonna create this thing, if you're gonna create something, right, like a song or art or a story or a movie, you know, some sort of art for entertainment, um, and you know, and you create something that's low effort and slop, then we have the whole situation we just discussed. You know, nobody's going to want to look at that because it's low effort. But if you do want to put effort in, why use AI, right? Why not just learn the skill to make it normally and put in, like, because you're going to be putting in effort anyway, right? But like by learning how to do it with AI, you're always going to have a product with like subpar. It's going to be subpar. It's always going to have flaws. It's always going to be hallucinating something or other. You know, you might as well just and then in order to fix the problems that the AI has put into your whatever it is you've made, you have to learn the skill anyway, right? So
Not
just
always, no.
skip the AI.
When I use it to fill in the background, which I do because I don't have the skill to fill in a background of absolutely nothing. Like, how the fuck am I supposed to fill in a hole? But it takes me 2 seconds to fill in a hole, even though it might not completely match, not be the perfect thing. It's good enough that I can then focus on improving other things that people will notice. So I would argue there's clearly a balance that needs to be struck
Well,
there.
I mean, yeah, and I think the balance is probably somewhere between, you know, 14 pixel thumbnail and, you know, like a whole song. You know,
Now I don't
like,
know, but if I was doing like a full feature-length musical movie, I could see using AI to generate lyrics for a song very simply, or the beat for a song, or hell, AI could even make an entire song so that I can focus on the story. I can focus on the next song, or the art, the dresses, the backgrounds. I could see using AI to support, not to replace everything. Again, that's
I
where I'm
mean,
sitting there.
perhaps. I don't know if an AI would be great at doing the whole lyrics thing, because, you know, for a
Oh,
movie
they're
you
not. They're
need,
fucking
you know,
terrible. Don't get me
I was
started
gonna
on
say,
it. Oh my god. There's
yeah,
a streamer I
they come
watch, Imperial Jedi, that has a redeem where you can pay and his AI will make a song up on the spot. And I find it atrocious. Sometimes it has
yeah.
good lyrics, but I still find it atrocious because not only is it insulting that it's made up on the spot and it's a gimmick, it doesn't feel like an actual song. And so you're like, I don't want to listen to this right now, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, uh, I mean, yeah, I think I've summed up my thoughts pretty well on it.
I think we agree on a lot, but not all of it. It's like I went in for a handshake and you went in for a fist pound, and we
We
slapped
did it.
hands somehow.
Yeah.
We did it. We had a conversation, Gorlath. How does that conversation feel to you?
No, feels like we had a conversation. There you go. We
What are
came
the
to terms on
chances
stuff.
YouTube will lambaste me? Because I know your opinion is the opinion Twitter has. Everybody on Twitter almost agrees with you. Like, if I were to talk to Lambo, Lambo would have the exact same opinion as you. I feel like I'm of the minority of not necessarily being pro AI, but I see it as a nothing burger, much like when Photoshop came around, and I use this all the time. It's the exact
Mhm.
same arguments I see when
I mean,
Photoshop
yeah.
is stuck forever. And I feel like it's going to be the same thing with AI, where it's going to be a new classification of art. Art's still going to exist, man-made art, Photoshop's still going to exist, and then you'll have some sort of artificial art or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's complicated, really, is the problem, because, like, um there's definitely, like, a sentiment of a lot of people being, like, heavily anti-AI, and it's funny because, like, as a person myself who's fond of robots and stuff, the fact that I'm taking the more anti-AI stance, it's because it's not really what I want for artificial, like, you know, the future of
What do
AI
you
and whatnot.
want then?
I mean, you know, I part of my biggest problem with the AI thing is mostly in how it's trained, right? Like, I don't have a problem with using AI to support, right? Like you said, using things like, you know, an AI for things like, oh, I don't know, the ground texture in a video game, right? Like, that would be fine,
I'd
right?
argue you can
want
use AI to make the entire graphics. I mean, the Unreal Engine is pretty much already there, so
to,
that I feel
well,
levels the art playing field of graphics.
yeah. I mean, because the thing is that, like, if you use AI to generate all your graphics, you're gonna probably get something fairly generic that people aren't gonna play. You know, it's already an issue on Steam, as you get AI slop, you know, video games, asset flips, that kind of thing. It's the kind of tool that's used by it's an issue of the tool is used by people who want to put in the minimum amount of effort and get, you know, and make money off of it, right? That's usually what.
I don't know if they
Um,
necessarily want to make money off of it. Money coming in, it's kind of like streaming, where everybody thinks that every streamer wants to make it big. I don't think every streamer wants to make it big. Like, I don't. I don't
well,
think you want to make it big.
not necessarily, but, like, the thing is that, like, these asset flips do kind of exist for that. Is they're just sort
Oh,
of there to
sure.
make a quick
There's
buck,
people that
you
asset flip
know?
to make a quick buck. There's people that
And
buy
yeah,
NFTs for some reason. But all right.
yeah, and then this AI is sort of like, it's the kind of tool that's used by that kind of person who wants to. And again, like I said, I don't really have a problem using it for making games if the person using it is, you know, genuinely has a passion for it and, you know, wants to create something good with it. It's just that that's not the kind of person who uses it, right? And on top of that, it's the data that was used to train the AI, again, was not like chosen from data that people willingly gave, right? It's that's a big issue for me. Is that like,
see, it's not, because I argue people do it all the time. Like streamers always rip off DMCA stuff. For example, you have sound effects on your stream. You didn't make those sound effects. Somebody else made it. You don't you don't say, oh, this sound effect came from this thing. I guess you do in a spreadsheet way back that nobody even cares about. But the point is, you didn't make the sound effect. How dare you use that? Somebody else made that. Why don't they get paid?
Every single sound effect, though. The AI doesn't do that. There is no credit in an AI.
Nobody cares about credits. Let's be honest. When is the last time you watched the credits of the game and been like, oh, I really like this art, I'm going to message so-and-so? Never. Nobody cares.
Every game I beat.
No, you watch them, but you don't care about the actual names. You're just like, oh, these are the credits. These are the people. Thank you for making the game. And that's it. That's all.
I mean, I'm not going to thank every single person. You know,
well, you don't care about them, is what I'm saying. You don't care about the people who made the models. You don't care about best boy of the movie you were watching. Like, come on. If most of that was AI, you wouldn't care either.
I mean, I probably would. Here's the thing, right? This is the thing. There is a difference between, you know, me watching the credits and, you know, being like, oh, you know, these people made a good game, good job, and then, like, you know, not really paying attention to the names themselves, but at least giving them, you know, the time of day and being like, you know, thanks for making the game, you know, because, you know, they're probably never going to see me saying thanks for making the game either. But, like, there's a difference between that and not crediting them in the first place, right?
Sure, but I argue it doesn't. Game came out, so many people draw art that they don't credit. Like, how many people have ever traced over another piece of art and got inspired to start art that way and then adopted that art style, and nobody ever credits it?
I mean, yes. The thing is, though, right? There is, when it comes to learning art, yeah, tracing, you know, a lot of people do that. But when it comes to monetizing art, if you get caught tracing when you're selling your art, right, you will get shit on if you get caught, right?
So people get shit on for copying people's AI stuff all the time. Like, if you use, say, Sydney Sweeney, who's a big model apparently, and you put her into something from AI, people shit on you. It's the same thing.
Rightfully so.
Well, naturally, like, it's the same thing.
Because you, like, that is plagiarism, right? That's what it is. It's plagiarism. It's stealing.
You say plagiarism, I say alternate creation styles.
No, it's you know, if you copy someone's work in university and you submit that as your class assignment, you're getting fucking expelled.
Nobody ever caught me on that though, so I didn't get expelled.
That's the thing. Do you want to take that risk? It's a thing that a lot of people hold as a value of if you want to copy it to learn from it, that's fine. You know, just don't sell it. Just don't pass it off as your own work.
Every single report I ever wrote in school, I usually just took whatever somebody else said and reworded it so I didn't have to credit them, because I didn't know how to put them into the credits because university uses such stupid ways to credit people. So I would always reword how they said it, rephrase it, and then it's no longer plagiarism.
Yeah, no, it's a big thing, and like I can understand where people are coming from with it, because like it's not hard to ask for permission, you know. So like not doing that just goes to show how little whoever is doing that cares about the people that they're blatantly stealing from.
That's fine. People that steal don't typically care about the victims. I mean, look at people who mug people on the streets. Nobody gives a crap. I'll just take your money and your credit card and your smartphone. See you later.
Yeah, and like that's not okay. And in the same sense with AI,
what makes that not okay? What if I wanted your money?
You can't just because you can't just walk up to someone and take their money. That's like
why not? What's wrong with that? For legal reasons, I am joking. Do not take this as advice. Do not rob or mug people.
I need to spend my money on anime
on tea and anime boobs. All right.
And tea. That's what I need to spend my money on. I can't afford to give it to you to spend on your anime girls.
You know what? I'm going to get AI anime girls, and you're going to buy my gacha game just for those anime girl slop I put out.
Gonna make a gacha game with AI generated anime girls.
I mean, it would be a lot easier than paying a lot of people for it, and I could probably steal from Girls Frontline, call it like ladies forward assault.
You could just go There you go.
What an interesting conversation. So I did have other questions. I have a million questions I wanted to ask you, but I feel like I'm just going to need to bring you on for another goddamn episode because it has been 2 hours of us talking. And I feel like I've barely scratched the surface of what is a Gorlath. How did you come up with your name?
That's a good question. I played a game called Mabinogi when I was a kid. Mabinogi was a MMO, I guess I think it's still up. It's an MMORPG back from sort of the golden age of MMOs. It's popular around the same time as like World of Warcraft, all that. And it's a fairly dated by today's standards sort of fantasy life MMO. So it's the kind of MMO where you weren't sort of restricted to being like a warrior or a mage or whatever. If you wanted to, you could just join the game and you could just pick up like tailoring and you could just make clothes. And like that's how the game worked. You could just do whatever you want, and there was no classes or anything like that. You had skills, and you could level up each skill independently based on how you did it. But I digress.
Sorry, so Gorlath came from you. You were a tailor. That's all I'm learning so far.
Well, okay, I was getting to that. So early in Mabinogi's lifespan, you can only play as a human. I played as a human for a while. My username was something else. Eventually, an update came out that introduced elves and giants. And I made an elf character, and I made a giant character. And I needed a name for a giant that was big, dumb, and stupid, and I went with Gorlath.
So you just were like sitting there at the character creation screen of a giant, and you were like, a giant's name is Gorlath.
And I was like, me Gorlath, me smash. That's basically how it was.
Are you Oh boy, you need to make a better story. You need a better origin story for sure. That one was bad. That's possibly the worst name I've ever heard come up from a story.
I played that game for about 10 years. That was my childhood. That game was. So,
have you ever thought about changing your Twitch name?
I have done occasionally, but I don't know. I've stuck with Gorlath for so long now that, like, you know, it's kind of stuck for me.
Why did you add streams to your name then? Is Gorlath taken?
Yes, Gorlath was taken. Unfortunately, despite the fact that I came up with it myself, my character in an MMORPG 10 years ago, it turns out Gorlath is not, it's not an entirely unique name that is only chosen by me, as some people's usernames are. And it's many times I join a website and it's taken.
There's a lot of Gorlaths online.
Yeah, there's a lot of Gorlaths, and almost none of them are me.
Like, there's Gorlath workshop items. It's in the Steam community. Project Tower OST Gorlath.
That one is me. That Steam one is me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the Project Tower OST isn't. Yeah, there's a lot.
What about
I don't know
the...
I don't know. I have no idea about the Metalocalypse one.
There's nothing in there that says even Gorlath. That's Death Clock. What? Why is it Gorlath the Destroyer? What? No. Oh shit, I put an underscore in your name. Well, you come up very quickly as the first couple search results, that's for sure. Gorlath the Destroyer? Okay, I gotta watch their TikTok. Is this good? No, it's literally the person. I thought it was Gorlock. It's... How do you feel knowing that there's a very overweight woman that uses your exact name and adds the Destroyer?
I don't know, man.
Gorlath the World Eater?
Mm-hmm.
Bro, what is the internet these days? Where have we gone?
Where have we gone?
And I can't believe there is actually another Gorlath of all those different names that you could have created. Did you know Zam is actually very popular of a name?
It's 3 letters. It makes sense.
Yes, but also no, because you think Sam for being English and European and all that. Sam is everywhere, not Zam. But Zam is a Middle Eastern prophet. I found that out. And there's a Zamzam well, which is also not water you want to drink, but it's supposed to be holy water, and people steal it. But anyway, Zam is very popular of a name. So there you have it. Because religion ruined my name. Maybe I should make a religion ruin your name. I'm going to start the Gorlath the Destroyer cult. And we're going to destroy your name is where it comes from.
No.
Yes. We're going to drag it through the mud. We're going to make a Gorlath AI just to spite you. So.
Oh, no.
So, oh, no. Are you good?
Yeah, no, I don't want to be an AI. I'm going to be tutted with AI.
Yeah.
But that.
Don't worry. You've got enough VODs up that we can totally just turn you into an AI. It's not a big problem. Plus, you don't have a face, so it's just a voice and mannerisms.
Yeah, you absolutely could.
You very well could actually replace yourself with an AI, and your chat probably wouldn't notice. And you could just stream forever. Maybe you should think about that.
24/7. I don't know if I would do that. I feel like I don't know. I feel like people wouldn't watch a stream like that.
How would they know? How would they know?
Probably from the fact that I'd be online 24/7.
No, just don't have 24/7. Just come back after like work or hanging out with your dogs, and you shut it off later and be like, mute the AI. All right, guys, I gotta go. Thanks for watching, and you shut the game down.
Yeah, fair enough.
Fair enough indeed. Well, Gorlath, I don't want to take up too much more of your time. Do you have anything that's coming up cool on your stream people should know about aside from the fact that I put an underscore in your name that is not actually there?
Well, I suppose on the subject of me playing random games that no one's ever heard of, I was going to play Ratopia soon.
What the fuck is Ratopia? What?
It's a colony simulator where you play as a bunch of rat people. It looks very cute.
No. Ratopia. What the fuck, dude? Why? Are you a furry?
No. Well,
everybody's going to call you a furry. You know that's going to happen.
It looks cute though.
Why?
What do you mean, why?
Why is this what you want to play?
Because
you could play any game in the world, and you want to play Mice the Game?
I do want to play Mice the Game. What's wrong with that? I want to play cute Rat City Simulator game build.
Okay. Well, if you guys want to see Ratopia, make sure to go check out Gorlath without the underscore streams. He's a very cool gamer. You can hear his voice. He's very British, and he'll definitely put on a good show. He hasn't disappointed me yet, and he doesn't actually typically offend you. He just plays, he strategizes, he does a great time with those games, and he actually teaches you as he learns because he goes so in-depth with everything, and I hate that he can do that. Anything else coming up that you want to talk about?
No, that's about it. Playing rounds with Zam.
That's October 7th during Zamcon 2.
Yep.
I have a lot of thoughts. I've been working so hard on Zamcon 2, people don't even know. It's not going to be better than Zamcon 1, but it's going to be a time anyways. A time.
Now you got to hype it up. It's going to be way better than Zamcon 1.
It's not going to be better. Zamcon. I'm putting a budget on Zamcon 2 because we did not make a profit during Zamcon 1. We went so far into the hole. I spent so much on Zamcon 1. Now I'm being very budget wise. And that's making a lot of my plans get kiboshed. But it's okay. We're going to do it reasonably so we can do a Zamcon 3, hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we will be playing rounds then. That's the only collab you have coming up?
That is for now.
Maybe you should get other people to collab with.
Maybe.
What stops you from making friends on Twitch aside from your anxiety? You know you can make friends. Do you even watch Twitch?
I generally don't.
Why not?
I am more of a YouTube guy, and I don't know, always have been.
Huh. Interesting. Very interesting.
I like the ability to sort of like pause a YouTube video and, come back to it.
That's strange because you never pause your streams for me when I go pee.
Mm-hmm. I do pause my streams for you. It's just
no, you don't. You fucking liar.
No,
it's
no.
It
skips. When you press when I press the pause button and then it pauses, but then you're actually in your bathroom's a time machine or something, I swear.
No.
You come back and you're forward in time, so it skipped it.
Yeah, okay. All right, whatever. Forget about you. Well, Gorlath, it was a great time talking to you. I appreciate you coming on to this podcast with me. Maybe next time you'll have a gift tuber or a VTuber, maybe. Maybe you should work on your branding and become a big streamer, and then you won't have to have a job, and then you can be a family name, and then I can ride off your coattails for your fame.
Yeah, maybe. That's what I'll do. I'll become just a big boob titty VTuber.
You'd be surprised. There's a lot of VTubers that are guys who are girl models. It's very common. Very common. I'd almost say it's more common than not.
All right. Anyway.
All right. Well, thank you for being here. Thank you for making some time. I'll talk to you probably in your chat tomorrow. Guys, go check out Gorlath. Gorlath, thank you for being here. Goodbye.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
No, thank you. Goodbye.